Do you know why I'm gonna hate this video? Because I have to watch the last episode of Sword Art Online 2 and I'm gonna cry so hard you'll need Moses to go anywhere. Alright, let's do this. So back in 2014, wow, I am late on this one, Sword Art Online 2 started, and with it came the peculiar waves of hate that I yet again don't agree with. Now I'm just gonna quickly skim over the first half of SAO II so I can get to my main point. So the first arc I had some problems starting with, but most of that seemed to be biased, judging from the response I got on the video about it. Overall I was fairly okay with it, and it hit my expectations. Not as good as the first half of SAO, but better than the second half. Still, it had some problems. It got a little slow partway through from what I can remember, and if you can count them as problems, it still had the usual problems that all the haters complained about. And then you had the Excalibur arc, and you know what, if you want to tear this arc a new one, go for it. It was cool to see a bunch of characters we know interacting for the first time, but other than that, the series just goes on a total tangent, busy solving the irrelevant problem of a completely new character that had no investment and no one cared about. And the rest of the time is spent dungeon crawling? Like, I don't care. This is a story, not a game. The only reason people watch Let's Plays is because the commentary adds something. If you took away the commentary, it'd be pretty boring. That's the Excalibur arc. Okay, good. Now we can talk about what I want to talk about. Mother's Rosario was amazing. Like, wow, I did not see this coming. God, there are so many good things I have to talk about. Let's start with let's start the start. So the arc begins with everyone falling asleep. That's an interesting way to pump people up for a new arc. Okay, bad example. Let's start with our new character, Yuuki. And right off the bat, how impressive is it to make such a strong arc based on an entirely new character? Ultimately, it comes down to driving as much investment as possible in the small time you have. So, how do you get your audience immediately invested in a character? One of the best ways is to connect them to an already established plot point and then bolster their redeeming features. It starts out introducing her as a really powerful player who's been fighting anyone who challenges her, and the plot kinda directs you towards the idea that a fight between her and Kirito is coming up, but nope, Kirito's already fought her. And he lost. Kirito, or Jesus-kun, has been built up as a huge powerhouse, so for a new character to beat him so unimportantly that they didn't even need a scene is a huge twist. Whether you love or hate SAO, how can you not be immediately interested in this character? Someone just beat that character that everyone couldn't shut up about him being OP. And I mean, to be fair, there's a little debate thrown in about whether or not Kirito is playing seriously, to keep it a little in the air. But a win is still a win. And Kirito even confirms later that she has faster reactions, because he says if she was in SAO, she would have gotten the dual wielding skill that was given to the player with the fastest reactions. Fast forward a little bit and you meet Zekken. Right off the bat, it's pretty cool that she's portrayed as a big tough guy in the foreshadowing, and then it turns out to be a chipper little girl. Also, while I appreciate we're phasing out the unrealistic female armor, this isn't exactly much better. You'd slice your neck every time you turn your head. God, I love Yuuki though. She has a semi-distinctive personality, she's stronger than all the other characters thus far, and my god, the mystery. There are so many little scenes that suggest something bigger is happening with this character, and my god does that mystery deliver. Sleeping Knights. Can we talk about how awesome this concept is? On the surface, it's just a guild that want to get their name engraved on a wall of fame for defeating a boss together. What's that? A wall that immortalizes your name forever? Well, I better make the most of it and put a fancy and respectable name up there that's deserving of the honor. The big reveal, though, is that Sleeping Knights is a guild of terminally ill patients who got together to form a guild. It's such a creative idea, because a virtual reality system is the one place you can properly use a bedridden character and actually make them someone you might want to learn about in a shonen. It's just such a creative way to use a VR system to get a unique character design. Oh, did I mention this arc centers around Asuna and Kirito gets sidelined? It was really nice to get away from Kirito for a bit. Both Asuna and Kirito are fairly generic, but they were both about as important as each other in SAO, so I'm glad we switched it up. It's refreshing. Kirito disappears for a while and suddenly appears to do a quick cameo and save the hour thing, and I'm okay with that. I don't know what it is, these sudden return scenes never fail to be cool. The Sleeping Knights are a really endearing group in general. They all have these small interactions with each other, and you can tell they all have their little relationships. It's something I call humanization back in SAO and AOT, and it's always something SAO has been really quite good at. Anyway, so the rest of the arc builds Asuna and Yuki's relationship and the investment with the audience, but at this point I think most people should like Yuki. Her personality, her stature, her mystery, hell, she even has a bit of depth when she says that she started to act cheerful in order to stop her parents worrying. And right when I was really invested in this character, she dies. It was expected, her illness was a core part of her character. But the way the whole server appears to see her off, and the way her best friend starts talking all cheerful and confident, like it's all gonna be fine, and then just breaks into tears, God, it just breaks my heart. I love this arc so much. Here's the thing. SAO II's last arc made a lot of changes. There was a complete lack of fan service. Kirito was completely sidelined from the story. Kirito was debatably bested in combat, i.e. not OP, and the new female character did not join Kirito's harem. We took a complete break from the harem for a good 6 episodes. And I mean, I would debate that these weren't problems to begin with, purely because they're kinda nitpickish and don't really interfere with the main engagement, i.e. the story. But what gets me is the moment SAO turns over a new leaf and did none of the things people complained about. Just where is everyone? Where are the people going, good job SAO? Where are the people encouraging SAO for doing the things everyone so desperately wanted it to do? They're just gone. No one fucking talked about this arc. Call me a conspiracist, but it's almost like people wanted to hate on SAO. I feel like after the second half of SAO 1, the series became a joke, like the hip new thing to hate on. I literally have friends who said they liked the first half of SAO in 2013, and then the next year they said the whole thing was trash. I know, anecdotal evidence. Ultimately, I'll never be able to read people's minds, but look, all I'm saying is I'm fucking suspicious. Between the opinion switching, the bullshit arguments, and the final arc that no one seemed to want to talk about, the hate just started to look really dodgy. And look, I'm not a fanboy, I can see this anime's flaws, but a lot of the flaws people bring up are really stupid. Like, for instance, characters being OP. That's not a flaw. In many cases, a character being super powerful makes them more likable and makes investment so much easier. Perfect example, Sora and Shiro from No Game No Life. You might have noticed watching these badasses constantly dropkick their competition was many a time more fun than watching them struggle. And that's because it reflects better on their character. Sometimes watching a struggle is more fun, and it's usually because it's based around a strong battle of ideals, or it's a thrilling back and forth with 2 characters doing really smart things, or maybe the choreography is just really good. All I'm saying is that OP is not a flaw, because many situations drive engagement from domination. Also, don't tell me overpoweredness is bad when they're never bested, because you know Kirito is beaten every now and then. As far as I can tell, OP is only bad in one situation, and that's when it doesn't make sense, which to be fair, happens in Sword Art Online. Once. Yes, you heard me, just once. Kirito has been stated previously to be a beta player who understands more of the intricacies to the game and clearly knows how to level up faster. It is perfectly reasonable for him to be a much higher level than these guys, so much so that he would regen faster than they can deal damage. There is nothing wrong with this scene. God, it's like people have the excuse to say OP in one scene and then they just decided they wanted to use it to describe Kirito through the entire series, because fuck it, why not, right? Ugh. Some other good examples of OP characters are Beerus from DBZ. Oh, and OP had a lot of OP. Anyway, think about characters like Beerus and Shanks without their OP-ness. The fact that they were strong was part of what made them awesome. Anyway, I'm just going over like one complaint you hear about Sword Art Online, which I think is stupid. There's a lot more of them of me like going over these complaints in Sword Art Online versus Attack on Titan. I'm not like glossing over them or anything. I contradict most of them there, or debunk them. Not to sound arrogant. Whatever. I'm doing this off script because I'm too lazy to write it. Anyway, but yeah, like if you're interested in that, go to the Sword Art Online Attack on Titan 1. Yeah. Anyway, so like, if you want to hate on something, fine, whatever, but when something finally fulfills the rules you set, like, come on, credit where credit is due. Mother Rosario was unique in concept, mature in its depiction of terminal illnesses, and human in its characters, and it didn't try to pander to its audience. No fan service, no harem, just a solid story. And if something like that didn't even get a little bit of credit for the things it did right, then I'm beginning to have my doubts about this community. Credit where credit is due. That's all I want to say. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out, and I will see you in the next video. Wait, hang on. So, after finishing the recording for this video, I realized I hadn't watched Arcada's review of Sword Art Online 2 for some reason, and as it turns out, he actually gave it some proper credit. So, props to him, faith in community, restored. I will see you in the next video.